Welcome, everybody. Hope you enjoy this beautiful service. You're in for a treat today. It's going to be wonderful. So, here we go. There is a space in my heart where I find the truth. I find me in you, a truth beyond what you may see now. When we are one, we bring more good about. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah, there is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. I see with new eyes, allow and unfold, embrace and let go, trust the flow. There's a freedom in love when you follow your heart. Together we are stronger than we could ever be apart. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah, there is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. Breathe in and out. Slowly feel all that surrounds you. All that you feel, all that you know. Let it go. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. Yeah, when we unite. Oh, we unite. Yeah, yeah, when we unite. Oh, you are welcome here. Love is welcome here. Peace is welcome here. You are welcome here. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole and the Unity Band. You guys are awesome. What an amazing way to start. Welcome, all of you, and welcome you that are joining us on live stream. We want to let you know that those of you that are watching us on Facebook, and if you have your phones with you, a great way that you can help our Unity community grow and get more traction out in this world, you can go to Facebook and find our live stream, and you can share it. And so you can share it to all your friends. And that's a way for people to not keep this the greatest secret in the world, but to actually invite them into this magical place, either in person or online. But I have a few announcements coming up. We started choir this last Thursday for Christmas, and we need more people. So if you would like to sing during the Christmas season, even Thanksgiving, we meet on Thursdays at 6:30. We especially need men, but we also need more women. So if you've ever had anybody tell you that you sound good when you're singing, come and join us. You don't have to have a background where you read music. We actually give you CDs that plunk out all the parts, so we make it very easy for you, and it's a wonderful way to get involved in this community and to serve this community, because Unity is iconic in Boulder for the performances that we put on for Christmas and Easter. So come join us on Thursday. And if you're watching us online and you have friends that are great singers and they don't attend our center, they're still welcome to join us. So please ask your kids that are in college, or anyone you know that are great singers, come and join us. We have such a good time together there. My name is Jack Groverland. I'm the spiritual leader here. Today your talk will be given by Minister Emeritus Jack Groverland, who is also, many of you know, my father. So you have an amazing service coming up. But I have a class that I'm starting. It's another in-person women's book group that's starting Tuesdays, October 27th through December 1st. It will be 5 straight weeks, every Tuesday from 6 to 7:30. It is $25 registration, and it's $10 per week, and the book is $16. You can register after the service in the bookstore, or you can sign up online at unityofboulder.com. And the book we're studying this time is Outrageous Openness, Letting the Divine Take the Lead by Tosha Silver. So it'll be an amazing gathering together. We also have limited space, obviously, because of the COVID protocol. So you want to register fast, because we can only have 15 people in the room that we're meeting. We already have registrations. I will let you know that the bookstore is officially now open again, where we have our amazing gift shop with spiritual tools to use on your meditation practices, and we have gift items and amazing books. So that's open after the service, right after the service, and it's open during the week during office hours. We want to remind you that we have an incredible Unity Garden that's located just beyond the parking lot back here. I call it the Unity Secret Garden. It reminds me of the book, reading it as a child. When you go back there, it is such a holy space. It's been tended with so much love, and you can feel it. If you're having any health issues or any area where you just feel like you can't move energy, just go lay down in that garden today and feel the energy and the love that's been growing those seeds all summer. And you can see now the winter squash and the pumpkins coming out, and just enjoy it. And I want to thank Joel and Grace Gutman for all the hard work that they've done on it. They do it through love and service, and it's a special place for us all to enjoy, so make sure you check that out. We have welcome bags for you if you're new today, so if you didn't get one on your way in, you can grab one on your way out. It has all sorts of wonderful information about our center in that bag, and it also has a DVD of prior sermons, so you can get an energy of the different ministers that are here. All right, so I'm going to move on. We have an awesome opportunity for music today. Ananda Murari Das has been practicing bhakti yoga, or the yoga of loving devotion, for a decade now, both teaching and facilitating groups from all over the world, inspired by the universal principle of service and how it unlocks the sweetest areas of growth in life. Ananda endeavors to share a life of intentional enthusiasm, dynamic personalism, and humble service directed towards the highest expression of love. He currently lives in Denver, Colorado, where he teaches music, offers private tutoring, and is a practicing life coach. Today he is joined by Sri Radha, his wife, on the hand cymbals, Devin LaRoque on flute, Livy Amoruso on violin, and Jivan Bukta on drum. Let's give a warm Boulder welcome for these awesome performers.
Okay, there we are. Thank you so much. We're exceedingly pleased to be here. This first song we'll do is a traditional bhajan, and it's described to be like a window to the spiritual world, singing of the great beauty and variety that exists in
Those
transcendence.
names are crazy.
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Sing with us if you'd like. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari,
Radha Madhava
Gopijana Vallabha Giribharadari Giribharadari Gopijana Vallabha Giribharadari Jashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Jashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tiravanachari Jamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Listening to that beautiful chant just brings to mind what a magnificent and diverse world we live in. Which brings us to the only real, purposeful, and powerful religion. Live and let live. Live and let live. In unity, we seek to become conscious co-creators with God. The purpose of that is to live lives that are truly worth living. And in order to do that, we have to at some point recognize the limitations of the thought system we were born in, raised, and educated in. Then we might be able to start to open up to the more refined level of consciousness that will allow us to become conscious co-creators with God. To facilitate this whole truth that we embrace in unity, I'm going to relate the research work of Dr. Masaru Emoto, a Japanese scientist that worked with the unique molecular structure of water. What he did in his research was to discover that water somehow or other has the property, the ability, so to speak, to respond to human thought and emotion. You know, he was involved with researching water in many different ways before he actually came upon seeing if water responded to different types of music and things like that, and got to the place where he was actually experimenting with water to see if it responds to our thoughts, words, and emotions. And this he did by taking the same source of water, dividing it up into different clear bottles, and placing on the bottles these words or phrases. And on some bottles, he put words and phrases that were positive and kind, truthful. On other bottles, he put words that were negative and mean. And then after they rested for a while with these words facing in at the water, he froze the water. And then he would look at it under a microscope to see the crystals created by the water. And he discovered that the water that was influenced by the positive, kind words created beautiful, symmetric crystals, while the water that was influenced by the negative, mean phrases was deformed, distorted, and fragmented. And this research led for him to become a worldwide speaker and presenter of these truths that he came upon with the water. This beautiful research was related in a beautiful and powerful way in the movie What the Bleep Do We Know?, a movie written, directed, and produced by Will Arnst, who we've had here at our church, and we're going to have him again. But there's a scene in that movie that features this research. And the scene takes place in a subway station where a young woman who's distraught, she's holding really negative feelings about herself because the husband who she recently married is a philanderer. He's going out with and making it with other women, and she holds herself responsible for not being attractive enough to keep him as part of their marriage. So she's going through all of this stuff and feels terrible, and she's got anxiety, and now she's taking medication. And she drops her medication on the subway station floor, and while she's trying to gather it, this train that she seeks to get passes her by. Let's pick up that scene right there. Can we have that?
Subway exhibit comes to us from Japan and Mr. Masaru Emoto. Mr. Emoto became terribly interested in the molecular structure of water and what affects it. Now, water is the most receptive of the four elements. Mr. Emoto thought perhaps it would respond to non-physical events. So he set up a series of studies, applied mental stimuli, and photographed it with a dark field microscope. This first picture is a picture of water from the Fujiwara Dam. And this picture is the same water after receiving a blessing from a Zen Buddhist monk. Now, in this next series of pictures, Mr. Emoto printed out words, taped them to bottles of distilled water, and left them out overnight. This first photograph is a picture of the pure distilled water, just the essence of itself. These subsequent photographs, as you can see, are each different. This is the chi of love. And we move along here to thank you. And you can see where he taped that to this bottle here. But if you read Japanese, you already knew that. Now, Mr. Emoto speaks of the thought or intent being the driving force in all of this. The science of how that actually affects the
And you missed that last frame that was all bemodeled and deformed. That last frame showed the water when the words, "You make me sick, I will kill you," were taped to the water bottle. And it's all distorted and deformed. I didn't spend a lot of time on that. But the powerful point being made here in this particular featured scene is what the gentleman says at the end. If thoughts can do that to water, imagine what our thoughts can do to us. And this, of course, is something that we in the New Age movement have really been involved with and are seeking to find the real meaning of our place as co-creators with thought in our lives. You should know, though, as well, the gal making the presentation said that biologists say that our bodies consist of 90% water. That has been since changed. Biologists recently have said more truthfully, having done more research, that our bodies consist of 20% water and 80% Starbucks coffee. This is our modern generation. We've replaced our water with Starbucks coffee. And that's not true, by the way. There's probably somebody tuning in saying, this is the strangest thought. But Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, the founders of Unity, realized in experimenting with their own awareness that our thoughts not only affect our bodies, they affect everybody and everything around us. Unity is founded on that realization, which was used by Charles and Myrtle Fillmore to heal themselves of catastrophic illness. So, in looking at that, it now brings us to an understanding that unity has capsulized in a single statement. And it goes like this. Can we have the first PowerPoint? This is the unity statement of truth. Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind in manifestation. And that's an interesting way to put it, and a very cogent way to put it. It's put in a more expanded way by this particular spiritual teacher, Allen, James Allen. Can we have this next PowerPoint? Mind is the master power that molds and makes, and man is mind, and evermore he takes the tool of thought and shaping what he wills, brings forth 1,000 joys, 1,000 ills. He thinks in secret, and it comes to pass. Environment is but his looking glass. This is from James Allen's book, As a Man Thinketh. It's also out recently, As a Woman Thinketh. So we are beginning to look at the very foundation of the unity approach to becoming a conscious co-creator with this universe in which we live. Let's go on to, this is Masaru Emoto's own words from his book, Hidden Messages in Water. Our emotions and feelings have an effect on the world moment by moment. If you send out words and images of creativity, then you will be contributing to the creation of a beautiful world. However, emitting messages of destruction, you contribute to the destruction of the universe. If you become aware of this, you will no longer be able to speak words of anger to those around you or blame others for your own mistakes and weaknesses. You have the capacity to change the world within a moment. If you become aware of this, you will no longer be able to speak words of anger to those around you or blame others for your own mistakes and weaknesses. You have the capacity to change the world within a moment. If only that were true to the extent that we could hear this truth and then apply it. But it is more difficult than that. And I will get to explaining that in a moment. But first I want to share with you the idea that truth hasn't just popped up into our world recently. Truth exists down through the ages. And there are those down through the ages from ancient times who have reiterated this truth for all humans to take in and discover the joy and the majesty and the wholeness and healing of this truth. Here we have the Master of Life sharing it with us. Let's take a look at this from the Gospel of Matthew. You can read this in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 12, verses 34 to 37. This is my edit, by the way. The only edit I did on this passage was to bring it into the present time, because the literature, scripture of the ancient Aramaic and Hebrew and the Greek have no past, future tense. They're simply present tense. You can add past, present, and future as you look at it, but because our translators and theologians are trying to get it into the English language, which requires a past, present, future tense, you got everything in a past tense or a future tense, but you didn't get anything in the present tense. This, what you're looking at, is the majesty of the Bible writer speaking directly in the presence, from the presence, to the presence of God. For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. The good person out of his good treasure brings forth good, and the evil person out of his evil treasure brings forth evil. I tell you, on each day of judgment, people are rendering account for every careless word they utter, for by your words you are being freed, and by your words you are being condemned. For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. The good person out of his good treasure brings forth good, and the evil person out of his evil treasure brings forth evil. I tell you, each day of judgment, people are rendering account for every careless word they utter. For by your words you are being freed, and by your words you are being condemned. With that passage alone, you put an end to the really limited concept of there being a separate judgmental God somewhere that you have to face and meet and deal with after you leave your body consciousness. There is no judgment except that which we bring upon ourselves through the consciousness we embrace and continue to believe and follow. So now I say, understanding this, you can surely improve your life. It will take some time because you will need to take to task your own awareness. It's so much easier to take to task everybody else's awareness. It's easy to take to task all the limitations, concerns, and difficulties that people seem to be bringing forth into our lives, but that's not going to be in any way helpful. It's not even going to happen because we all live from the collection of our beliefs. Now we have to get to this point about in the heart, from the heart. What is Jesus actually referring to there? Why didn't he just use the statements, by your words you are being justified, and by your words you're being, why didn't he just, but he said, those from the heart, it's from the heart that our words come forth. What is he referring to? As all the masters refer to the heart, they are referring to the soul consciousness, which really includes the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is the mind that has been conditioned through life by that which we have taken in and believed, and so it exists and causes us to live in the fashion of our collection of beliefs. And no two people are living in the same world in a limited consciousness because no two people are living in the same collection of beliefs. It's simply that way. Thus, the heart, the soul consciousness, which is the subconscious mind, must be purified. So we can do all of this stuff with words, but you see, that's because we still believe only in the thinking of the brain, or brain consciousness. And what we are being told here exceeds that, goes beyond that. And they've done research today to show that the heart is 1,000 times more powerful in bringing about our experiences than the thinking of the brain. The brain pales in significance to the power of what we feel most of the time about ourselves and life in general. What do you feel most of the time? So it is necessary for us to take to task our own awareness, our soul consciousness. And by the way, you should understand that Edgar Cayce said, when we leave this personality-driven life in the physical body and go on to our next experience in living, it is the subconscious mind that goes on to lead the soul. In other words, as to whether or not the soul has advanced toward an understanding of its divinity or whether it has fallen back again in this life from any advancement toward recognizing the divine of its creation. So that's one of the only really great seer of our time has said that. So a purification process is necessary. That is why spiritual practice is necessary. And that is why this is true. Can we have this next PowerPoint, please? You can read this in the Course in Miracles text, page 415. That's the old text. In the new edition, it's 445. Projection makes perception. The world you see is what you gave it, nothing more than that. But though it is no more than that, it is not less. Therefore, to you it is important. It is the witness to your state of mind, the outside picture of an inward condition. As a man thinketh, so does he perceive. Therefore, seek not to change the world, but choose to change your mind about the world. Perception is a result and not a cause. And that is why order of difficulty in miracles is meaningless. Everything looked upon with vision is healed and holy. Nothing perceived without it means anything. And where there is no meaning, there is chaos. Can any more truth be related in a couple of paragraphs than that? And all we have to do is look at the ego-oriented, personality-driven lives in the world to see the chaos, the disorder, the conflict, the suffering, the disease, the war, to know there must be another way. There has to be another path to find life fulfilling, complete, and beautiful. And there is, but the masters of life say to those of us that have made this physical world so important, they have said to us, the way to true life is narrow and difficult, but the way to destruction is wide and total. So spiritual practice is necessary, is required, that we can purify the conditioning of the world in us. There has to be a movement of the heart or the full soul consciousness away from its allegiance to the personality-oriented physical world. And doing that, we're allowing the light of the core of our being, made in the image and likeness of the divine, to rise into our awareness. And that which we call intuition, insight, leads us on a co-creative journey of happiness, healing, peace, truth, integrity, joy, majesty, and honor. That is our calling. Out of the dirge, the drudgery, the suffering, and the darkness of limited thinking human beings. That's it, folks. There is no other religion. You can do whatever you want to do. You're never going to get out of the trouble, the difficulty, the suffering, the disease, and the death that you fear. Never getting out. Never will. Unless you begin to take to task your own awareness. And that is done, and why we in Unity emphasize meditation. It is necessary to relax the mind. We have become so interested in gaining advantages in the world that our thinking never stops on our personal behalf, that our self-interest can precede us and create a future that's going to be better than it was today, better than it is, better than it will be, better, 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 more, more, more. And the world can never provide for you what you're really seeking. You are seeking your divinity. And the problem is that you perceive the difficulties, the challenges, and the problems as being outside of your own mind. And they are not. As you master your life, you will enter into a higher dimension of awareness, a divine and magnificent level of knowing through insight in every given moment exactly what is appropriate for harmony, healing, peace, and love. Meditation. I'm going to share this with you from Alan Watts. This is a short video of Alan Watts speaking to that issue.
So then let's consider first of all, what is a mind?
It's amazing. Some people ask me, well, who are you referring to when you say the masters down through the ages? Well, masters like, Alan Watts, Eckhart Tolle, Deepak Chopra, and many, many ancient masters down through the ages, all are relating the same thing. Alan Watts probably never heard of in his life. He passed on before Eckhart Tolle was around, but what he's speaking about here is that we are addicted to thought. Eckhart Tolle explains that we have to somehow or other quiet the mind from its addiction, its incessant thinking. Incessant thinking is what goes on in a necessity for us to try to make this ego-centered awareness get fulfilled from things it can gather, control, and compel in the world outside. But the fact of the matter is, there is no world outside of you. You are living in your collection of beliefs. And as the scripture says, it is important to you. You cherish it. People will say, but in the real world, and what they're talking about is in my illusionary collection of beliefs, things work this way. So you better know that the heart is a place that must be understood as a symbol of the soul mind. Your soul is seeking to find its divinity in expression. And it has to understand itself to be one with the guiding light of God. That's the reason why you can have what they call false news, false statements, false stuff spewed out on the media. And people take it in and believe in it and carry on with it and create more and more suffering and more problems everywhere. That can't happen to someone who is awake. When you awaken and remove the blocks to your present oneness with life. This whole thing about what happened in the past and trying to figure out how to make the future better, it's all an illusion. And when you bring yourself into the space of living now, in the awareness of the present moment, and willing to be present, just willing to be present, you are no longer reacting from your collection of beliefs. What you are doing, don't take anything else away from this service except this next word. What you are doing is allowing. You are allowing. And in that full allowing of the moment to be what it is, the divine speaks to you in light and understanding. And you know, moment to moment to moment, what is appropriate, what is necessary, what is needed to be done. There is no other way. I'm going to conclude this with a summation from A Course in Miracles. Let's take a look at this from the workbook of A Course in Miracles. You can read this in workbook lesson 132. What keeps the world in chains but your beliefs? And what can save the world except yourself, with a capital S, means your divine self at the core of your being? Belief is powerful indeed. The thoughts you hold are mighty, and illusions are as strong in their effects as the truth. A madman thinks the world he sees is real and does not doubt it, nor can he be swayed by questioning his thoughts' effects. It is but when their source is raised to question, that the hope of freedom comes to him at last. Yet is salvation easily achieved, for anyone is free to change his mind, and all his thoughts change with it. Now the source of thought has shifted, for to change your mind means you have changed the source of your ideas, you think, or ever thought, or yet will think. You free the past from what you thought before. You free the future from all ancient thoughts of seeking what you do not really want to find. The present now remains the only time. Can we take this back again? I'll go through it one more time. I'll go through it fast. But again, you can pick up A Course in Miracles and read this, and you'll find this truth related on every single page. What keeps the world in chains but your beliefs? And what can save the world except yourself, your higher level of consciousness? Belief is powerful indeed. The thoughts you hold are mighty, and illusions are as strong in their effects as is the truth. A madman thinks the world he sees is real and does not doubt it, nor can he be swayed by questioning his thoughts' effects. It is but when their source is raised to question that the hope of freedom comes to him at last. Yet is salvation easily achieved, for anyone can be free to change his mind, and his thoughts change with it. Now the source of thought has shifted, for to change your mind means you have changed the source of all your ideas, all you think, ever thought, or yet will think. You free the past from what you thought before. You free the future from all ancient thoughts of seeking what you do not really want to find. The present now remains the only time. The masters of life live in the present, have always found their way to share that with everyone. Again, how many will ever find their way to the enlightened state of living fully, completely, successfully, joyfully? It's narrow. We are too conditioned. The media owns us. Fake news, the entire outer-directed world lives on it. We'll take an offering for unity now. Is that what we do?
So while we get ready to take an offering for unity, I want to remind you that, well, first of all, amazing talk. That was good I took the day off. I think you were pretty rocking it today. I'm starting to get better to listening to that inner voice, and this week I was writing, and I said, you know what, I know Spirit has something else in store for Sunday, and it's not coming through me. But it's nice because I get to socialize with you guys and have fun and enjoy a day sometimes here at Unity. I enjoy the days I speak, but I'm more a little, you get it. So I want to remind you that we do operate in the world, even though we just want to stay in the consciousness of receiving this amazing message that this center is 100% supported by the gifts that you share with it. When I teach prosperity classes, we talk about tithing our time, talent, and treasure. All three of those things are what keep this place operating. As you see, the musicians that are here that serve this center, we have ushers that are serving this center, but the tithes are what keep the doors open. And since March, when COVID hit, we have been so blown away in gratitude for all that you have done to support this center, and we've pretty much stayed in the black throughout. But last month, we had a pretty large deficit, and we were off by about $10,000 in tithes, and that will not continue this center for very long if that happens more often. So I just want to remind you of that when we're knowledgeable, that we give from our heart, and we really know that when we're giving, the more we give, the more we receive. That's an important part of this life, is to give from your heart and know that whatever blessings you're seeking will fill that place. So with that said, let's take our offerings in our hands and bless it with this offering statement. And you can say it with me. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, because I give. And I'm in gratitude. Thank you. And now we have this wonderful opportunity to listen to these incredible spiritual performers.
So this Maha Mantra that we'll chant, the practice of mantra, manas means mind and tra means to free. So just as in today's lesson, which was brilliant, I'm so grateful to be able to hear that, this description of how things all around us are affected by the sound vibration or the thoughts, which are just a subtle form of sound, and what those things do to the world around us. So similarly, mantra is the ancient practice of using sound to cleanse the consciousness. So mantra, or man, as we said, mind, and tra means to free, freeing the mind from those programs that we've collected that keep us in these cycles of thought that just create disease, suffering, and so many other things. So this Maha Mantra is said to be like that panacea. And you're welcome to sing along with us. It'll be a call and response, and just for pronunciation, you could repeat after me. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama Rama,
Rama Rama,
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Feel free to sing along with us. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One more time all together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
all together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One more time, all together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. We'll sing together. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Wow. So beautiful. It's just, yeah, so appreciate. It's hard to do any music after that. Do you guys want to just play people out and just end it with you guys? I think that's the way. Doesn't that feel right? Let's complete with them playing. We'll have fellowship outside, but, and they have CDs available out in the lobby right after as well. But let's just, you guys can leave in your own timing, but I just think this is the correct way to finish the service today. Thank you for coming. I'll be speaking next week. Great to see you all, and thank you.
First part is just D minor, and C, G, other, and then it's D, C, G. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All together, nice and loud. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
all together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hey! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Got you. Okay. Last time. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. We just do that all day. It's like